Does it ever seem like it's just so hard to get ahead in life? You're working hard, you're making more money, but inflation happens and the cost of living increases, and you're left wondering where all your money disappeared to. Well, there's an often overlooked aspect of your own doing that ends up being the biggest wealth killer for most people, and it keeps people living paycheck to paycheck. Here's something to think about. Did you know that just a $100 increase in your monthly expenses requires an additional $30,000 in net worth for retirement? More on that in a bit. But first, this often overlooked phenomenon I'm referring to is known as lifestyle inflation or lifestyle creep. This video will explore the causes, dangers, and the strategies to combat lifestyle creep so you can take control of your financial future. Lifestyle creep is challenging to spot in your own life because it can happen so slowly over several years. Your income rises, your spending tends to follow right along with it. Lifestyle creep is bad because it can trick you into believing that more is what will make you happy. More space, more vehicles, more stuff. You're working more and you feel you deserve it. Why not enjoy eating out more often? For those choices, you end up working more to enable them and sometimes even borrowing from your own financial future. This can easily happen when you do not have a specific plan for when your income increases. Things that may once have been luxuries when you had less money now seem like they're your perceived necessities. So let's go back to that simple scenario of a $100 increase in your regular monthly expenses. According to the 4% rule, withdrawing 4% of your retirement funds in the first year of retirement and adjusting for inflation each subsequent year, your portfolio should ideally cover about 25 to 30 years of retirement expenses. So for every $30,000 in retirement funds, you can withdraw 4%, which is $1,200 per year or $100 a month. As we continue to spend to support an elevated lifestyle, for every additional $100 per month we get used to spending in our monthly budget, it's going to require an extra $30,000 in retirement funds. This is exactly why there's so much danger to falling victim to lifestyle creep. If we get used to spending too much of our income without saving and investing properly, it's going to require some difficult life changes in retirement or delay it altogether. Lifestyle creep is such an easy trap. Unfortunately, too many people create their own financial problems, and then they feel like they're a victim of forces beyond their control. Data from a recent survey found that 32% of Americans earning more than $150,000 are living paycheck to paycheck. And maybe even more surprising is that 46% of high-income earners are more dependent on their credit cards than they have ever been. And that's a higher percentage than even the lower income groups. In fact, about a third of those making more than $150,000 said that they were not going to be able to pay off their credit card bills this year. For many people, more money just means more problems because their lifestyle is not in line with their income. This can even happen to ultra-high income earners, and that's exactly why we see so many celebrities and athletes that have made tens of millions of dollars go bankrupt because they squandered their money away on shiny things and status symbols. Lifestyle creep tends to only move in one direction. Many people were just as happy in life when life was simpler and they had far less. But once you become accustomed to spending more, it becomes challenging to scale back your lifestyle. The increased spending might involve things like eating out more often, driving a nicer car, maybe additional vacations. If lifestyle creep goes unchecked, attempting to correct it can feel like you're stepping backwards in life, and nobody ever wants to feel like they're going backwards. The initial step to avoiding lifestyle creep is understanding your primary financial goal. So what financial goal is truly most important to you? I doubt it's having more handbags or a bigger wardrobe or more expensive toys. That's not going to bring you true contentment in life. By freeing yourself from the need to work longer hours in exchange for a paycheck, you can embrace a more fulfilling, stress-free life, allowing you more flexibility to pursue your own dreams. So what is most important to you when it comes to your money and finances? That goal should consistently be at the forefront of your mind on a day-to-day basis. That way, it can help provide the motivation and focus needed to make better short-term decisions. This helps long-term goals become a reality. Let's say you get a $3,000 raise after all the taxes have been taken out. Most people immediately start thinking ways they can spend that extra money. However, that's only $250 per month. If your monthly expenses run around $4,000 per month and inflation is running at only 3%, inflation is going to eat up $120 of that. Now there's only $130 a month left. If you go out to a restaurant a couple of extra times a month, suddenly that pay raise is gone. When you get a pay raise, a bonus, tax refund, or extra commissions, try taking only 50% of it to treat yourself or improve your life in some way, and then devote the rest of it to increasing your net worth so that one day you can have true financial freedom. You can pay down high-interest debt that you may have, build up an emergency fund, and invest for your retirement. You might continue to do this until you are out of debt and saving and investing at least 20% of your income for your future self. Your future self is going to thank you. If you want to break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, you might need to take a serious look at your budget too. We need to start seeing where every dollar goes. We must be aware of the warning signs of lifestyle creep. So if you're going to treat yourself, make sure it's within your budget and your savings and retirement are on track. Here's a couple ways to think about that. Let's say you're thinking of spending $500 on something that's not a true need in your life. Just for an example, let's say you make $30 an hour. If you were single, that income puts you into the 22% marginal tax bracket. You'll also have to pay 7.65% for Social Security and Medicare. So to spend $500, you must make $711 before taxes, which means you would have to work about 24 hours to earn that $500 to spend. That's 3 8-hour work days. Or maybe you're looking at buying a $35,000 car, but instead you rationalize and you buy a $45,000 car because you think you deserve it. That extra $10,000, if it was invested into a low-cost ETF for the S&P 500, which averages around a 10% compounded annual growth rate over long periods of time, that could have grown into $170,000 in 30 years. Not to mention, the more expensive auto comes with higher insurance rates and taxes. Saying yes to one thing means saying no to other opportunities. It's not that people don't know they should be investing, it's just that they usually don't think of it in the moment of spending their money. So at least be mindful and keep your most important goals in mind when making decisions. Now, some lifestyle inflation is intentional. As you earn more, people tend to choose to increase their standards of living. That's fine and normal. It's not always a problem when you want to buy nice things and allow yourself to enjoy life, especially when you budget for the expense. The problem occurs when it's mindless spending instead of intentional spending. You want to understand your emotions and desires, but not allow them to dictate your actions and overwhelm your rational thinking. There are always things we would like to spend money on right now, but having the discipline to properly weigh what you want right now in your life with what you most want in your life is vital if you ever want to achieve financial freedom. It's the small increases in spending across many categories that allow the creep to go unnoticed until we take a hard look at our budget. Lifestyle creep is much easier to spot when it comes from the big purchases. Those can be upgrades to our home or apartment, buying nicer cars, or a bigger vacation. If they occur too rapidly, though, big improvements to our life can keep a person struggling financially. I mean, holy cow, the average car payment right now is running $738 a month on new cars and $532 a month for used cars. Those are some hefty payments for an asset that depreciates in value. And what about the little things? Just as eating too much does not cause weight gain immediately, spending a little extra here and there might not hurt your bank account right away, but it can sure add up over time. Naturally, you want to avoid impulse purchases, emotional spending, and other unhealthy ways of spending money, like trying to impress others or keeping up with how others might be spending money. A recent SoFi study found that 56% of online purchases were impulse buys. Most people are bad with money anyway, and society seems to be getting worse at it. According to the Center for Retirement Research, in 1980, 38% of households over the age of 65 were still carrying debt. But now that has risen to 63%. And according to the survey of consumer finances conducted by the Federal Reserve, only 35% of people 50 to 54 years old have saved at least $100,000, and only 36% have saved $100,000 by the age of 64. Remember that 4% rule? Well, that $100,000 will provide you about $4,000 per year if you want that to last throughout a normal retirement span. So you don't want to be like most other people. You simply can't live like everyone else and end up better than everyone else. And from looking at those statistics, you don't want to be like everybody else. So financial well-being requires us to keep lifestyle creep in check. It requires mindful spending, keeping in mind what truly matters to you, and making your long-term goals a priority over the short-lived luxuries and material things. Once you obtain financial freedom, life gets easy, and you can enjoy many of life's luxuries and conveniences in a stress-free manner. But if you fall victim to too much lifestyle creep, you will never reach this enjoyable, stress-free life. Remember, money can buy things you don't need, but wealth, such as cash and investments, buys freedom and security and control over your life. Pick what's most important to you and spend wisely. Thank you for watching. Leave some comments below and hit the like button.